Love does not disappear. It just waits, quietly, patiently, until someone is ready to see it. Grace found this truth in the bottom drawer of her mother's dresser. A letter addressed to her, never opened, dated 1989. It was Sunday morning. Emily had gone for a walk, needing time to process everything that had happened at the church potluck. Grace had decided to clean, to sort through her mother's things, the task she had been avoiding since she arrived. The dresser was old oak, the same one that had stood in this room since Grace was a child. She remembered sitting on the floor, watching her mother brush her hair in the mirror above it. The top drawers held what she expected: scarves, handkerchiefs, a tin of buttons, old birthday cards tied with ribbon. But the bottom drawer was different. The drawer stuck, old wood swollen from age and too many humid summers. She had to yank hard to get it open. Inside, beneath folded quilts that smelled of lavender and thyme, she found a wooden box. Small, simple, with a tiny brass latch. Grace lifted it carefully and sat on the edge of the bed. Inside were photographs. Her parents on their wedding day, her grandmother holding a baby, Grace at 6, missing 2 front teeth, Grace at 16, in a cheerleading uniform, and beneath the photographs, a stack of letters. One envelope was different, addressed to Grace Miller, in her mother's handwriting. The postmark read, September 1989. Never sent, never opened, hidden away for 35 years. Some letters outlive the people who write them. Grace whispered, "Grace, Mom, what is this?" Her hands shook a little as she flipped the envelope over. The seal was still intact, yellow with age, but unbroken. She hesitated. Some letters were meant to stay closed. Some words were meant to remain unspoken. Some truths were better left buried. But she had come here to find herself, to understand her past, to make peace with what had been. She slid her finger under the flap and opened the envelope. Words from the grave. The letter was written on pale blue paper, her mother's stationery, the kind with small flowers in the corner. Grace took a breath and began to read. September 15th, 1989. Dear Grace, I have started this letter 100 times. Each time I throw it away, but tonight I'm going to finish it, even if I never send it. You have been gone 11 years now. Married, living in Chicago, a mother yourself. I see pictures of Emily and my heart aches in ways I cannot explain. I want to tell you something I should have said a long time ago. The night you left for college, I stood at the kitchen window and watched your father's car disappear down Maple Hill. I did not cry in front of you. I smiled, I waved, I told you to call when you got there. But after the car turned the corner, I sat down at the kitchen table, and I wept. Not because you were leaving. Children are supposed to leave. That is the natural order of things. I wept because I knew I had never told you how proud I was of you, how much I loved watching you grow, how much I would miss the sound of your voice in this house. Grace's eyes blurred, and she swiped at them before the tears got ahead of her. She kept reading. There is something else. That boy, Jack Thornton. I saw him the morning you left. He was standing at the end of the driveway, watching your father's car. He did not come to the door. He did not say goodbye. He just stood there, hands in his pockets, looking at the road long after you were gone. I never told you this. I did not know if it would help or hurt, but I have always wondered what would have happened if you had stayed, if you had chosen him, if you had chosen this town. I am not saying you made the wrong choice. There are no wrong choices, only different paths. But I saw something in that boy's eyes that morning. Something I recognized. He loved you, Grace. The real kind of love. The kind that waits. Grace's hands were shaking now. Tears fell onto the paper, smudging the old ink. I'm writing this at midnight. Your father is asleep. The house is quiet. And I'm sitting here, wondering why it is so hard to say the things that matter. I love you, Grace. I always have. I always will. Even when I do not know how to show it. Even when the words get stuck. Maybe someday I will send this letter. Maybe someday I will find the courage to say these things out loud. But for now, I will put it in my drawer with all the other things I do not know how to say. Be happy, my darling girl. Whatever that looks like for you, that is all I have ever wanted. Your mother. Grace lowered the letter. The room was silent. Morning light fell softly through the lace curtains. Dust motes drifted in the air like tiny ghosts. Grace's voice broke. Grace. All those years, I thought she did not understand. She pressed the letter to her chest. Turns out she understood everything. She just did not know how to say it out loud. The tears came then, not desperate sobs. Something deeper, something older, something that had been waiting 35 years to be released. She cried for her mother, for the words never spoken, for the distance between them that had never been real, only imagined. She cried for Jack, standing at the end of the driveway, watching her leave. She cried for the girl she had been, so certain she was doing the right thing, so blind to what she was leaving behind. Love does not disappear. It just waits, quiet and patient, until someone is finally ready to see it. And she cried for the woman she was now, finally understanding what her mother had known all along. What mothers carry. Emily found her mother sitting on the bedroom floor, surrounded by photographs, clutching a piece of blue paper. She spoke with alarm. Emily, Mom, what happened? Are you okay? Grace looked up. Her face was streaked with tears, but she was smiling. Grace, I found something your grandmother wrote. Emily sat down beside her, cross-legged on the old carpet, the way she used to sit when she was small. Emily, what is it? Grace handed her the letter. Grace, read it. Emily read slowly. Her expression changed as she moved through the words. Confusion, recognition, sorrow, love. When she finished, she looked at her mother with new eyes. Emily. She never sent it. Grace. She never sent it. Emily. Why? Grace. I do not know. Fear, maybe. Pride. The belief that there would always be more time. Emily looked at the letter again. Emily. She saw Jack, that morning, standing at the end of the driveway. Grace nodded. Grace. Watching me leave. Emily. And he is still here. 35 years later, still waiting. Grace. Yes. Emily was silent for a long moment. Emily. Mom, I think I have been wrong. About a lot of things. Grace. What do you mean? Emily. I came here to protect you, to make sure you were not making a mistake. But maybe the mistake was mine, thinking I knew what was best for you, when really, I was just scared. Grace. Scared of what? Emily. Of losing you. To this town. To Jack. To a life I was not part of. She wiped her eyes. Emily. But reading this letter, I realized something. Grace. What? Emily's voice trembled. Emily. Maybe that is what mothers do. They carry words they never find the right moment for. Grace felt her heart crack open. Emily. Grandma carried these words for 35 years. And I do not want that to be us. I do not want to wait until it is too late to say what matters. Grace. Emily. Emily. Mom, I am proud of you. I should have said that from the beginning. You lost your marriage. You lost your mother. And instead of falling apart, you started over. That is not weakness. That is strength. Grace pulled her daughter into her arms. They held each other on the bedroom floor, surrounded by photographs of generations past, the letter lying between them like a bridge across time. Emily spoke, muffled against her mother's shoulder. Emily. And Mom. Grace. Yes. Emily. I think you should call Jack. Tell him about this letter. He deserves to know what Grandma saw. Grace pulled back, looking at her daughter with surprise. Grace. Really? Emily wiped her eyes. Emily. Really? If a woman can wait 35 years to say I love you, and a man can wait 30 years at the same crossroad, maybe some things are worth believing in. Grace laughed through her tears. Grace, when did you become so wise? Emily smiled. Emily, I had a good teacher, even if she did not always know how to say it out loud. They sat together in the morning light, mother and daughter, the letter between them, the past finally making peace with the present. And somewhere in that quiet room, Grace could almost feel her mother's presence, watching, smiling, finally able to rest. Grace whispered to the empty room, Grace, thank you, Mom. I hear you now. I finally hear you. The curtains stirred in a breeze that came from nowhere. And Grace knew, without knowing how she knew, that some messages find their way to us exactly when we need them, even if they are 35 years late.